Hello and welcome to Sensei Podcast. This is Manos Brilakis discussing with leaders in the field of CTO and complex PCI. Sensei means teacher or master in Japanese. The goal of the Sensei Podcast is to help you learn and improve in CTO and complex PCI so that you can become the best that you can be and offer your patients the best possible results. Hello everyone and welcome to Sensei Podcast. It is my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Khalid Tammam, who is a great friend, expert CTO or complex operator working in multiple places around the world. He's the director of the interventional program at the IMC in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, but also he directs the Alameda Group in Egypt, and also he's an associate professor at Tokai University in Japan. So Khalid, again, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Super this afternoon for you, and super excited to discuss with you about your process, how to learn and how to get better.
Thank you, Manos. Thank you for this wonderful program, and I'm enjoying always to listen to your programs and your podcast everywhere.
Thank you. Thanks again, Khalid. So again, you've been very busy in many places and doing a lot of training and courses. So how did this start for you? How did you decide to first of all go into the complex and CTO intervention area?
So actually, that's a very long history. So I started CTO when I went to Japan in 2005. I did a training there. 2005 with Shimituji Sensei and Tochikani Sensei, and I started to join them there. I started the CTO program with them. At that time, was always at the starting. So this CTO was just like a fancy in Japan to go there, and to starting this complex intervention, one stay for 7 hours, 6 hours by the case, and in the very busy countries, you cannot do this kind of procedure. And then I go back to Egypt, and I start to friction to do this kind of procedure, with lack of supply, expensive, and with all available in the Middle East at that time. So I start very early to learn to do it step by step with supporting of Japanese groups. I start to do the meeting CTO, the first CTO club in Egypt in 2007. And it was nobody knows this about CTO. And I invite Shimituji and Tochikani, and I was very close to Kato Sensei, all this group in the CTO club in Japan. So I started there. At that time, I was in the fellowship program. So I went to France and I did my fellowship program in Clinique Pasteur for about 1 and some years. So, and then I came back, and I go from that time. I start 2008 or 9. So I start to do myself, the CTO, and I start to go everywhere. So to do CTO in all Cairo, and then went to Tunisia, Pakistan, India, all the African. So every place I went there to do CTO cases. So it was the much exposure I get, the much expertise I learned. So then I joined Saudi Arabia, and I started the first course in Saudi Arabia 2012, the CTO program, IMC Life. And then we'll talk later about it. So, and go from there. So long journey. I don't hear you.
I'm sorry. So again, a long journey, as you said, and a lot of changes and a lot of travel. But what inspired? So you were in Egypt, right? And you were doing your cardiology there. What inspired you to go to Japan and then go to France and all these places? Did you always want to do it? You found it fascinating. What made you, to want to go all over the world essentially and learn about this?
So, first of all, I went to Korea. So South Korea is my first training place. So I went to South Korea and I learned their radial approach in 2004. I was in Korea with in Wonju University, and I stayed there. And I learned from them the radial approach. And I saw these people in Asian countries. They like to do a new thing, and they are moving. So I went back to Egypt. I started radial, and everything was bifemoral, and I changed people to learn radial. And I thought that it is the only access. So I need to learn more complex intervention thing. So I start to send the emails to everyone to just like to learn a new thing, especially in Asia, because they are. I know the Japanese times do retrograde thing, which is very complex thing at that time. Nobody would like to do this thing. So I get a chance to go to Japan, and I stay in Osaka University with Simituji Sensei and other groups. And at that time also took Shuka groups, and they start to teach me how to do a CTO, how to do the IVAS guiding CTO. At that time it's 2005. Nobody was talking about this thing because it was very complex to other people. And it's just you are below people who don't give up, and this is my personality, so I don't like to give up. So
Perfect.
it was fun. Yeah.
Perfect. So again, I mean, it's amazing again to go at a very early stage when things are developing and learn it. And then how did you keep on getting better at it? Just doing the more cases from other places, watching other people. How did you actually get better and better at doing this? Which, as you said, it was at the time where there was no proctoring, no courses, and you started all this. So how did you actually get better and learn how to do it?
So I learn it from everyone. So I keep learning until now. I keep learning. So I learn it from your course. I get you here to learning from you, from everyone. So I keep learning. So I learn also from the first generation, which like Kato, Chai, Tamai, and all this first generation doing CTO. They are doing a lot of proctoring, and they doing a lot more cases. Sometimes you get more educational material from other people. So I start also with the people from Europe. So Gerard Werner, Cianos, Galassi, all the group and also Lombardi was. It was I was in attach also with the American groups. So I was with all the groups, and we learn from each other the drawback, the difficulty, the complex with the difficult cases, and how is the troubleshooting, how it's happened. I going very deeply with the industry to see how the materials how if you have a troubleshooting, how to get out from the case. So it was all learning. So the learning curve really is very long,
Perfect.
and they're still learning.
Perfect. So never ending road. What did you find the most difficult thing to learn in all these years? What was the thing that has troubled you the most to get good at it?
Tough question. uh, I don't know. I don't know how to answer this question.
Was it the technique, the mindset? Was it some specific technique, undergrade, retrograde? Was the thinking? Was dealing with complications? Is there one thing that you found harder, or it just all was similar in difficulty?
No. It's I get recently I get used to study more the cases, because before was not study more cases. So now I'm studying more the cases. Of course, we have a complexity when we find a very hard calcification, post cabbage, very tiny retrograde, and the epicardial channel, which is very bad, and and very poor patients which they have a very poor ejection fraction or this kind of sick people. So what challenged me that when you became people know that you are good, we give you the difficult case, and you start to be stuck with a very sick people whose the outcome was not really nice, and you try to get a better outcome. So I think the calcified people, the calcified lesions, and some area in the world you find that these people, so calcification always makes me tough on that. So a lot of calcium, long lesions, very ugly distal vessels. This make me always challenges.
Perfect. And are there any cases that have left, that you remember, either good or bad ones that you remember because they've taught you a lot of things?
Yeah, there's some nice cases. It's give you when you succeed, always nice, but when you failed, it's it's always. But I was getting upset when I failed the case. Now I'm relaxing when I fail the case. There is always tomorrow. So it became for me now. We became after progress. What you are doing, the efforts you're doing, we learn a lot. We learn that we doesn't matter you succeed or not. The matter is safety of the patients. So you go out from the patient safe. That's what I learned recently. We became more calm. So maybe this because of the experience, but we don't hurry. If it's not done, not done, not successful tomorrow, and we get them next week, and we succeed. Maybe you are tired, maybe you are, and I learned from the traveling, not do the same in the same day when I arrived. I have to sleep one day to do the case.
Perfect. I guess being in good shape is important to keep you focused. How do you deal with the stress of the cases? As you say, it's one thing to do them in your hospital, but you travel so much and you do it in so many hospitals. Do you get stressed out? Do you get nervous, anxious? You've mastered it. How does that work for you?
Yeah, when it's sometimes you are very stressful especially when you are in the place you don't know it, and you don't know the team, you don't know the backup, and you find you have a very young guy or in good shape, and you start to have a complication. So it's became you sometimes very stressful because you don't know the people around you, so you don't know how to save these patients. So you do all your effort to save him without any something happen. And I will tell you one because you asked me before the one which one case came in your mind. It was one physician who has a very ambiguous cap in ostial LAD lesions, and the LAD was not originating in the same place. So he has a trifurcation, LAD, circumflex, and ramus, and the LAD is occluded, and he has a good retrograde, but the antigrade there is no, but retrograde epicardium, only epicardium, not septum. And I tried the antigrade IVUS guiding, and when I saw by IVUS, I saw the LAD originated from the middle of the left main. So I have to puncture the middle of the left main, and it was very bad. You put the IVUS, and LAD is supposed to go near circumflex, and you go back and you puncture in the middle of the left main. And I was worried if this perforate, so I perforate the middle of the left main. The wire was successfully passed to distal LAD, and when I start to open, everything was smooth. And when I start to put the stent left main LAD, the circumflex ramus occluded, and patient start to crash. And I could not recross again until I get ultimate cross, and I recross. I open everything. I put a drug-eluting balloon, and then I put the stent, and he went well. But when I puncture this mid-lift, and the patient is perfectly done, maybe I will send it to you to represent this case. And this was very stressful because he was my one of our colleagues, is a physician, and he's you to puncture the mid of the left main just ivasing, with no, you are not sure this ivas or black or, so it was just wonderful. It ended fine, and the patient follow up in 3 years perfectly, angiographically perfectly, and left main open okay, and the left, so everything was fine. See such cases you're doing outside of your center. It's tough. It's tough to do it, and you don't know it's a backup near you.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, it's the backup issue, but also the familiarity of equipment and personnel. Um, so Khalid, in terms of the different parts of the procedure you do in so many places, and you've taught so many people, how do you assess? Let's say someone is trying to learn from you. You go to a new place. You're proctoring someone. Can you tell if someone is going to be good at it, or is it something that you don't find out until later on?
Yeah, you know the level of the operators. Some place you go to proctoring, and some of the operators, they insist to do the difficult case, and I tell them, we have to start step by step. You should not go difficult case suddenly. This kind of people, you find the resistance, but it's okay. You tell them slowly how to find, and when you have a trouble, you have to take over. Otherwise, you will not, you will lose the patient. So I start to select the patients with them, sit with them before the case, study the case well, and tell them the step. I draw the step well with them, how to go step by step, especially retrograde. So I go in with them step by step, and then I let them do it. So it's, Manos, when you teach the people, you learn more. Your information became much more. So I think the proctoring is the best thing to get mastering the procedure, because proctoring makes you more comfortable, confidence to do the cases, and give you motivation to do every day. You love to do the thing. So I think you do the same.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Teaching, as you said, is a great way to learn because you have, I mean, yourself, you sometimes do things without thinking. But when you have to explain to someone what to do, I think that becomes much more apparent and helps you get better as well. And actually, I know you've been very productive in terms of teaching and the meetings. How did you decide and how did you launch the meeting, the IMC and the other meetings you are doing all these years?
So IMC life is very challenging. I was like to bring all this, my friends and all this procedure to Saudi Arabia here, where the place I start, and nobody was supporting at the start except the IMC owner. He's the one, he gave me the brochure to just do it, and of course the small thing, and when the thing start to build, the Saudi Society of Intervention, was very grateful to support me to do this meeting. But I start with 5 people, only 5 people in the course, and I think last meeting before COVID we have 1,200 people, and was the first budget I have $1,000, and the last budget was huge. So I started with the 5 people, only 5 people, and I get a small room, and I get only one proctoring. He came with me. We did the case, and we start to discuss in practical the case, and the meeting start to growing, and I start to get the people from Western, from Eastern, from Middle East, and thanks also to Saudi Heart Society and the Saudi Intervention Group, who they was very supporting to this meeting in the later until now. And I get everybody to be involved in this meeting. Egyptian Society, Euro CTO Club. You came several times, and we love to invite you next time. And also the CTO Club in Japan was Colorated Cardio Alex. Everybody was joined, and they start to be successful and became a Middle East CTO clubs. It's a matter, but again, perseverance and resistance make you successful. So everybody Khalid, you do CTO. Nobody loves CTO, and now the CTO. When we start, nobody likes CTO. Nobody doing, especially the old generation. And then we start to do it, and now everybody loves to do CTO.
Perfect.
So
So it's been
it became more popular than before.
absolutely, and I know that both Saudi Arabia and Egypt and other countries in the Middle East have actually increased a lot their programs and doing more and more. Um, what do you think about the live cases? I know you've been an operator to many of those, and you've been moderating and organizing. How useful do you think they are for teaching people how to do complex and CTO interventions?
The live cases. I think the best thing to do now is interacting live cases. Is the best thing, but it needs to be very well selected. So we used to do 2 months, 3 months, selecting the good case, and depend about the level of the people. If you have the level of the people, very very starting people, you don't need to give a very complex thing. And life safe is good. It's very interactive because again, now by internet, by after COVID, everything became virtual. So I can watch Manos Perlakis every day. I can watch his book every day, so I know all the theories. But when we see the live case, we see the actual live cases. So the trouble, how is if there any complication, how the operator has been to learn. So the message is became clear. Again, experience a live case with me was very challenging because first 5, 6 live cases for me was all failed. And he said for me, Khalid, please stop doing a complex thing and do only the easy. And I don't give up. And in the last 7 days, 7 years, I don't have any failures. But before was all failure. Failed or not reached the time. It's not completely failed, but I don't finish in time. I finish late, or I don't. I failed the procedure. I stopped the procedure. So all at the beginning was all failure. At the end, you succeed, but at the beginning, all was failure. All was a mess.
So were you always like this? Always, as you say, very determined and focused, and wanted to do anything, no matter on the difficulty, or is it something that you developed as you were doing the CTO cases?
No, develop. No, I'm not now. It's develop from learning. It's just developing the thing. So it's not my own personality. It, doing CTO you all the life. You don't know. The learning from CTO. It's not I developed it by doing this thing. I was not like this.
Wonderful. So, Khalid, how do you keep in good shape to be able to do all these things, working in so many places, doing the cases, teaching, meetings? Do you exercise? Do you do something? How do you keep in good shape to function in such a high level?
I'm not in good shape. Anyway, it's no, it's really it's just I try to do exercise, but I'm not an exercise guy. So I'm getting some weight. So, but it's you get when you go to other places and you travel a lot, you end of motivation because we meet a nice friend. We share together. We're doing some cases, and we also some charities. Make you happy, when you go to some places, we need to teach the people and how to do the thing, especially in the developing countries. It makes you happy. It makes you want to do this. It's make you moving, even you're tired. It's not on money, but sometimes you do it. Make you moving. But I don't know until when.
Well, you seem to be going strong.
I learned from one. No, it's I learned from Yamani. he always tell me, Khalid, we have to eat some vegetable more. We have to eat special food. We don't have to eat a lot of meat to detox. But I don't do this. I'm eating everything. So
Well, I remember in your one of the last meetings you had this big the whole lamp came out, and that was amazing. So it's worth once in a while to eat well, actually.
yeah, I have to bring it for you after timing.
So Khalid, do you have any favorite movie or any favorite books that you like?
Yes, I'm when I have time, I like to do to watch movie with my kids because after COVID, I start to sit with my kids more. So I go with them to the movie. So I love to see any comedy movie, not traditional movie. So I like to see old comedy movies. So just to be funny with them. And I start to learn golf. So I'm going to exercise golf these days. So I'm doing some golf playing, and I have a small farm who I enjoying with my animals. So all the time I'm going to my animals, feed them, and it's my hobby now. So I'm just going with them to small animals, cows, and all this.
Perfect. Wow, that's you grow your own food. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And how do you find time? How do you find time between all these places and all the work? How do you find time with family and keeping the balance there?
Difficult questions again. It's no, I'm working in part time now, and I'm working 15 days in Saudi Arabia, 15 days in Cairo, and in between them I go to Japan. So every 2 months I will spend 1 week to Japan or 10 days. So and I try to when I stay with my family because they are busy in Saudi Arabia, so I start to sit with them as much as I can after the work. So I don't do uh, extra. But, again, we are not we, but I am not organizing my time very well. I try. It's very complex, very complicated.
Well, you do a good job on balancing all these things. So this is awesome. Um, what are you most proud of? You've got so many things. What are you most proud of personally and professionally?
Uh, Personally, I'm proud of my family because they are my wife, my family. They are supporting me a lot. So they are just keeping patient with me because I'm very hard to find time for them. So I'm proud to have this nice family. They are just keeping supporting me. Uh, all the place I went there, I proud for my position in Saudi Arabia because I have a lot of friends here and I did a good job with them. They are very supportive and I'm proud of IMC. I started from the scratch. So now I'm big center. I'm proud for my achievement here. I'm proud of achievement also in Cairo to make the CTO became popular and to teach a lot of people there. And now they are solo operators. So I'm proud when I saw them. They are working alone. I'm proud of them. I'm proud to do such cases. This those people who was working with you and became good. Proud from them to see them how they are growing, and I'm proud of the program how it's going there. I saw a lot of successful story in the CTO term of CTO and how it's going now.
Perfect. And what is it in for the future? What excites you the most right now and going down the line?
So we kind of so maybe go outside because I'm trying to go out. Yes, it's every year. Yeah, it's became very very stressful work, as we all know. So we know it's we try to do a good doing good, and I try also to do shop here in Syria. And I saw these areas became more um, progressing. We tried to do with my group in Egypt, Ahmed, and all my friends there, Tariq, yeah, every people there. We tried to do our own Middle East registry, which is join, and we join also your program with the Progress CTO, and we are happy to what you achieved there, and thank you for including us in all your contributions and all your extra material you made. So we are proud to work with you, Manus. So my wish is to do our because we have a lot of data, to collecting this data, and it became in the to see the light, because uh, it's still a lot of work to do. So I hope these places and this area develop and more and more and more, and reaching the level you have there. So it's and with contributions we have it with you, with the friendship we have it with other friends from Europe, from Japan, from all other countries. I think we end back. I see it before the retirement.
So, and speaking of which, do you plan to retire, or that's not in your horizon?
What?
Do you have any
I don't
plans
hear it.
for retiring, cutting back, or you want to keep on going
Yeah,
strong for a while?
yeah. 5 to 6 years to retire, not more. No, no. I'm no. If I'm healthy, I'm good. I'm still do it. I don't think I will be operating for a long time, because we have a lot of radiation dose. You know we did a lot, so I don't think we will keep the same. We have to learn another generation to come after us to be there. So we have to focus to learning the people that they will become the main operators. We're not doing keeping until 70. We have to see other time of life. So not every time in the cath lab.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, Khalid, again, you've have the perspective of so many countries, so many cultures, different techniques, and you've all synthesized it so nicely in your program and the other places that you work at. If you were to give some advice to people who are starting now, either in Middle East or anywhere in the world for that matter, what would you advise them to do to become good CTO and complex operators?
To have a formal training. So they have to start with the people who doing this thing. Don't start by their own. They have to start to learn from other people. To If they don't have people in their own country, try to go other places, and don't start CTO right away. You have to go with all intervention. So official program, if they can, and they join the official training, that's it will. We don't have to do CTO to kill 10 people to learn CTO. It's not good. So if you start by your own, you do a lot of mistakes. So you have to learn after the people. They tell you all the steps, they give you all the advice, and then you do by your own after you finish your training. So don't do it before that. You have to start the training, and in good way of the training and learning with the people who are doing this complexity, and don't start with very complex cases. Even you succeed with one case or two case, three case, 10 case, it does not mean that you are perfect. You may have another thing. So if you find a good people, and now I think a lot of good operators in all the countries, they are willing to have these programs in every place. They became a lot of good operators, so they can join these operators for a while, for 1 year, at least 1 year, just to post the program of cardiology to program, and then if it's joining Jamba Jide as early in my training. with the official fellowship make me a lot of different in my techniques, because he teach me a lot of basic things which helping you in your career, and they're still helping me until now. It's good to be in a place who teach you the basic before the complexity.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a different world. I think when you were starting, the CTO world was in the early days. There was not really structured training, and you had to go different places. But now, as you said, there are many programs and many good operators who can teach the next generation. So the importance of formal training cannot be underemphasized. Well, Khalid, again, really thank you so much for taking the time today. Congratulations again for having created these amazing programs in multiple countries and the meetings. And super excited to work with you and keep on learning from you and from all the things that you do.
Thank you very much, Manos. Thank you for your contribution in CTO. Really, your contribution in CTO makes the CTO in another place. Before there is a CTO with Manos or before Manos. So when you come, you put the CTO really in other places in terms of teaching. And I'm enjoying your all your podcasts, your books, your wonderful articles you give it to us every year. So it's keep going.
Wonderful. Thank you again. Thanks so much. Thank you for listening to the Sensei podcast.